Fun fact, if I want to breastfeed and I want to take the medication to help me produce the breast milk that I would need to breastfeed, I can do that. I have no problem with breastfeeding. I have absolutely no problem with using the word breast or using the word woman. I am a woman and I am capable of breastfeeding. I know you don't like to hear that because you hinge your entire identity and existence on biological function, but there it is. It is possible. Now, am I likely to be in that position at the age of nearly 38? No. And we have no intention of having any children further. So I'm not going to be in any type of position to be breastfeeding. I could give two shits what terms you or anybody else uses. Nobody is stealing your womanhood. Nobody is oppressing you.
Well, I'd say what has brought inflation down has been Biden draining the Strategic Petroleum Reserve by about half, dumping all of that oil onto the marketplace. And now that that's stopped, that's part of the reason why inflation has actually ticked up the last few months. Additionally, we've had a Federal Reserve that has belatedly been raising interest rates and, again, selling off that balance sheet. So those tightening of monetary conditions have been bringing down inflation. But this administration has done absolutely nothing to help. Instead, they are spending more and borrowing more. We just got additional data out from the Treasury yesterday saying that on top of the $1 trillion they borrowed just last quarter, we're now going to borrow 1.6 trillion over the next 6 months. For context, that's almost as much as we borrowed in the entire previous fiscal year. We've almost doubled the deficit. This is absolutely insane. And as far as inflation compared to wages, nothing could be further from the truth than the administration's line that somehow earnings are outpacing inflation. That's not true. We've seen a record 26 consecutive months of exactly the opposite, of prices growing faster than weekly earnings. And we can expect that, unfortunately, to continue in this next jobs report once we adjust it with the October CPI numbers, which I believe we get the following week.
Yeah, we do. And I'll be looking for that on Friday. Thank you for that. I want to bring in Jessica Malugin. She's got a question for you.
Hi, EJ. I wanted to ask you, it seems to me the root of these problems goes back to so much spending. Headed up by the Biden administration, but ultimately approved by Congress. And I'm wondering what you think Congress can do to not let that happen again, or to stop that from continuing to happen. That would seem to sort of cut out the root of the problem. So an Abuse of Crisis Prevention Act or a balanced budget amendment. What do you think Congress's role here is?
Oh, Jessica, it's a great question. And you're absolutely right that this is not simply a problem with the Biden administration, but it is also the big spenders from both parties in Congress that are a huge part of this problem. Spending does not originate at the White House, even though they can suggest a budget. It is Congress that actually drafts those spending bills. And so we need the new speaker and all of Congress, really, to get together and to drastically cut spending. Again, this new data from the Treasury showing just how much we're going to have to borrow in the coming months and also years ahead shows us that this is completely unsustainable. We have created a ticking financial time bomb here, and it's going to go off sooner than later.
And that is why House Republicans this week want to take that money that's been requested for Israel, separate it out, and pay for it by pulling money from the IRS funding. So it's not new spending, it's coming from somewhere else. I don't know, fiscal responsibility, it's quite a concept.
I'm not ready to go live yet. I just can't let that go. What? How about we don't take 14 million and give it to Israel? We can start there. Do you see what they tried to do here? Did a whole segment on it. And then all of a sudden said, fiscal responsibility. We're going to give Israel 14 billion, but we're going to take it from the IRS that got an extra 14 billion. They think we're just complete idiots.
Financial time bomb here, and it's going to go off sooner than later.
And that is why House Republicans this week want to take that money that's been requested for Israel.
What money?
Separate it out and pay for it by pulling money.
Did you not just listen to the first 2 minutes of that segment where he said, we don't have any money, we're borrowing the money?
From the IRS funding. So it's not new spending, it's coming from somewhere else. I don't know, fiscal responsibility is quite a concept. EJ and Tony, thank you. It's good to see you.
You too, Cheryl.
It was not good to see you, Cheryl.
Thank you very much, Chair Murray, Vice Chair Collins, distinguished members of the Appropriations Committee. Thank you for this opportunity to testify before you today.
Populated areas. Stop supporting the genocide and ethnic cleansing of the people of Gaza. Cease fire now. Save the children of Gaza.
Not shrinking back. Not in the face of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Not in the face of an intensifying strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
If the witness will suspend, and I ask that everyone again respect this hearing, we will suspend until the room is clear.
As in so much that we do to advance America's national security, our defense, our diplomacy, our development must work hand in hand.
Committee will suspend, and again, I appreciate that people feel passionately about these issues. I would ask that you respect our witnesses and our committee members and allow the American people to hear their testimony. We will pause until the room is cleared.
300 people in Gaza.
I know that several
Palestinians are animals.
Committee will suspend, and I again ask that those in the audience respect the people in the room and allow us to continue the hearing. The hearing will suspend until the disruption is removed.
the President and I have both stressed the need for Israel.
I guess they didn't have any interest in Muddy Waters. What was he playing in Muddy Waters? What, Hoochie Coochie Man? I guess the protesters weren't in the mood for Hoochie Coochie Man. Let's get it. We're about to get started. About a minute countdown on the funky YouTube intro that I think is just straight fire. It is. It might be more of a geeky show though. Like every show isn't a geeky show. It might be more geekier than Spice, I guess. But we'll see. You never know where the show's gonna go, especially with Toy Mafia in the building. You never know where the show's gonna go. TNT Cycles PDX, what's up? Blinking for Gitmo, that's a good one. They are animals. You can see how they're like almost inhuman. It's almost like a robot. Those protesters better be careful before they get dragged up out of there by their t-shirt. That was a super strong t-shirt on that dude that got dragged up out of the Hillary Clinton protest. Man, that t-shirt was strong. Cyan was even, I saw Cyan posted about it, like, and then I hadn't looked at it in that way, and I looked at it, I was like, damn, I think the whole t-shirt would, and this was a big dude. This, is it Alex? Is it Alex Rosen? I forget the name, but I'm like, damn, that's a big dude being held up by a t-shirt. Why isn't that an insurrection or impeding official government business? I don't know. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder is what it is. Whoever has the power can determine that, it looks like. Okay, so it was Alex. Was it Alex Rosen? Yeah, he's big. I mean, that's not even, my thing was just the shirt was holding him up. And that was a strong shirt. Because it looked like he had gone limp. And he was protesting Hillary Clinton. If you didn't see that, I didn't do a segment on it, but that was kind of crazy. That was right after somebody else. Man, people are showing a little bit of courage out here, aren't they? They're coming for the big one. Hillary Clinton's one of the biggest. Who's bigger than Hillary Clinton out here? Bill Gates, maybe? You definitely won't mess with any of the Rothschilds or anybody like that. Unless you're like Luke Rakowski from years ago where he rolled up on the Rothschild outside. That was surreal to watch that. And me and Ray, I think we watched that 2 or 3 times on the live. It's that shocking to see. Jordan Lott, what's up? Happy Halloween. I forgot it was Halloween. Happy Halloween, brother. It's time to throw a libertarian Halloween party night. Yep, I'm getting the thoughts together. You saw that is it Michael Richtenwald? I had just really found out about him, and he was on Timcast IRL today. Let me make sure I got his name right. He did really well. I saw the whole episode. He did really. I give him a lot of credit. He did well. My concern with him was kind of his presence, and I think he had good presence. Now, the thing about him is he's not presidential presence, but it was respect presence. I liked him. Now, again, I know the elephant in the room is comic Dave Smith. I know it's there. Can't ignore it, but we'll have to kind of work around the elephant in the room is what we'll have to do. We have no choice, and I'm not going to let that hold back from supporting people who are putting their necks on the line, literally and figuratively. And there is Dr. Michael Richtenwald was on Timcast. This is it right here. Episode 894. Very good episode. TNT Psycho said, we fed up. P.S. Alex didn't kill himself. Nah, I'm good too. I'm happy. No, none of that. Alex for sure needs to make that announcement about every 2 minutes. TNT, let me see it. Okay, TNT Cycles PDX said, I thought he was a mixed bag, but he didn't look foolish. I think that's fair. That's fair. Maybe my expectations were lower based on the research I did on Dr. Michael Richtenwald, who we're talking about, Libertarian candidate 2024. If you want a basic overview on them, go to the middlemaga.com blog and follow him on Twitter is probably the best way to get that. He's good on social media. I'm surprised at how good he is. But I thought he was a mixed bag is what TNT said. And I think he was on point. It's just, are you talking about TNT? If I could ask you, is it more from a presence standpoint? Because I don't think there was nothing. He was on point with his. I mean, I don't know if there was one thing I disagreed with him about as far as subject matter goes. I don't think there was one thing I disagreed with him about. Even agreed with him on the hospital. Man, I'm a big Tim Pool fan, so just in case somebody's the first time watching, because I'm going to do a little bit of criticism. Tim is off on the hospital bombing. It's still coming up, and I'm not really bringing it up at this point, but since Tim brought it up on the show, there looks like there could be like fifth generation informational warfare going on by both sides, but we don't know what happened with that thing. We have no idea what happened with the hospital. We got nothing but weasel words from the Pentagon. If the Pentagon doesn't know, I don't know how anybody else can know exactly what happened. So I think Tim's off on that one. He's just a little bit too certain to me about things. They're like the hospital didn't blow or what. I don't even know what's real, what's not real. And Michael, very well, when that was brought up, he kind of was like, nah, we don't know what's going on. But there's no need to argue over that. He was like, well, bigger picture is we know they're bombing hospitals. They just bombed a refugee camp. We saw that. And we saw that on the interview. I saw that on X. I'll play that clip right here. I'm going to get into Citizens United, but it's a little geeky, so I'm going to slide into that topic if you don't mind. See how everybody's feeling. Why can I not find Generational Change? Jen Perlman on here. Does she go by Jen Pearl? Okay. That's crazy. But this is the refugee. Basically, they admitted it on TV. And this is Wolf Blitzer was interviewing, I forget the name of the Israeli representative here. Let's take a look at this here. This is, I saw this. This is from today, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, so 9:30 Eastern. Let's take a listen to this here, talking about this massive blast hitting a refugee camp. Man, people are saying this is a war crime.
Yes, I can. We were focused again on our target, a senior commander, Wolf, and we'll be updating you with more data as the hour moves ahead.
But even if that Hamas commander was there amidst all those Palestinian refugees who are in that Jabalia refugee camp, Israel still went ahead and dropped a bomb there, attempting to kill this Hamas commander, knowing that a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children, presumably would be killed. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's not what you're hearing, Wolf. We're focused on this commander, again, who you'll get more data who this man was, killed many, many Israelis. We're doing everything we can. It's a very complicated battle space. There could be infrastructure there. There could be tunnels there. We're still looking into it, and we'll give you more data as the hour moves ahead.
Okay.
But you know that there are a lot of refugees, a lot of innocent civilians, men, women, and children in that refugee camp as well, right?
This is the tragedy of war, Wolf. And we, as you know, we've been saying for days, move south. Civilians that are not involved with Hamas.
So that's why I was like, Michael, very well done by Michael Rechtenwald. You might think it's a small thing, but I don't know if a lot, but some people might have gone into that more like, wait a second, we don't know this, don't know that. And he was like, well, we don't even need to argue about that. What about this? It's stuff happening every day. This is pretty much confirmed. This is a IDF spokesperson right here is saying, and Wolf is like, what about all the innocent people? You're going after what? One commander? Like this, like middle management. That's like going after a manager at a McDonald's thinking that you're going to end the franchise. You know what I mean? Like that's not taking a manager out, and I'm not even talking about life. I'm just saying removing a manager. They're talking about life or death, because I want to make sure it's not misconstrued. Removing somebody who's middle management from a franchise corporate company and thinking that, well, Hamas is going to go now because you got one middle management dude.
As you know, we've been saying for days, move south. Civilians that are not involved with Hamas, please move south.
Oh,
yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit more information.
So it's okay. We told you to move. So that for whatever reason, maybe Israel's blocking them from moving. I don't know. Allegedly, maybe Hamas is blocking them from leaving. I don't know. Allegedly, whatever happened is you told them to move, and you've got innocent people there. And the bottom line is, you telling them to move doesn't change the situation that you're in.
Civilians that are not involved with Hamas, please move south.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a little bit more information. You knew there were civilians there. You knew there were refugees, all sorts of refugees, but you decided to still drop a bomb on that refugee camp, attempting to kill the Hamas commander. By the way, was he killed?
I can't confirm yet.
We can't confirm that yet. Even if you said he was, how would I independently confirm that he was?
Will be more updated. Yes, we know that he was killed. About the civilians there.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, there'll be more updated. Yes, we know that he was killed.
But you decided to still drop a bomb on that refugee camp, attempting to kill the Hamas commander. By the way, was he killed?
I can't confirm yet. There'll be more.
What the hell is going on? He said, was the middle management at least? I mean, we're doing this ratio. It's like one refugee. Well, one middle management for Hamas. The guy, when a Karen goes into a McDonald's and says that the fries are cold, let me speak to the manager. That's basically what you've got for this Hamas commander, just some nobody. Meanwhile, the leader is worth $4 billion in Qatar somewhere, just chilling in a pool. And you're going after this middle management person, probably did some horrible things. Yeah. What about the people around him? What about all that? Did you even get him?
Was he killed?
I can't confirm yet. There'll be more updates.
Oh, you can't confirm yet. There'll be more updates. So then I guess you got an update in your earpiece as the conversation went on.
I can't confirm yet. There'll be more updated. Yes, we know that he was killed.
Is that am I lost in translation? I'm not following. No, we can't confirm. Yeah, we do know he was gone. Okay, how do I confirm that you're not lying?
About this,
and like it even matters.
Civilians there, we're doing everything we can to minimize. I'll say it again.
Remember I said, like, oops, sorry. Like, I don't know how many died in this one, but just hypothetically, drop a bomb, you get one middle management person, and I don't know, 100 innocent people die. It's like, okay, oops, my bad.
Sadly, they are hiding themselves within
Oh, so that's the excuse.
civilian population. And
Yeah, that's pretty crappy for Hamas to be doing that. And is that your excuse? What am I supposed to say? Oh yeah. They're hiding behind 100 children, so it's okay that you bombed 100 kids. Is that what you want me to do? I'm not following your logic.
again, we are doing this stage by stage, and we're going to go after every one of these terrorists who was involved in that heinous attack on the 7th of October.
Oh, okay. So that justifies everything there, and MAGA agrees. Jordan Lott says libertarians need to focus on liberty. If they do that, they'll be all right. Wise words. Jordan Lott drops bars in this chat. I love statements like that are very straightforward, simple, easy to remember. He just said if libertarians focus on, I don't know, liberty, maybe they'll be okay. Wise words by Jordan Lott. Tone Docs 1 says Trump 24, Trump 2024, Trump 2024. Let's get it going. I'm not against Trump at all. I love the energy. I mean, I love it. So absolutely, I will stand by you in your decision. I don't see. I go a different route, but when it comes down to it, you know that these are the perceived contenders. I think that's the term we looked up the other night, or like Jordan Lott said, the people with the money. Before I get into the Citizens United, one thing I will say is if Donald Trump and people in Donald Trump's camp, that you're going to have to put this back together at some point. So maybe it's too early for mending the fences. I think we'll see that. I think we will try to see that. I'm hoping we will see that. What I mean is you've got the primary and you've got Trump and you've got DeSantis, basically. I think Vivek, people who go for Vivek will be able to fold into the Trump camp easily. Let's say Trump wins. If Trump doesn't win, that's a shocker. I mean, it could happen, but we'll be doing lives. I'll be calling off work. That's going to be something crazy. It would take something. Let's just look at, something that's not really, 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 really negative, like him going to jail, because it could be worse than that. But for him going, it's not going to happen before then. Oh, well, you could have it with the gag order stuff, but I doubt that. That's clearly unconstitutional, but who knows? They're doing the fines. But what I'm saying is after the primary's over, you got to put this back together, man. So you can't, this is an unusual situation because the primary is uglier than, this is ugly. We've gotten, even with the supporter level of ugliness, you've got people who used to be maybe even friends or not even enemies. Now they're mortal enemy. I don't see how you can come back from this kind of stuff. If politics is dirty, maybe they're in that world and they know they'll come back together. But like allegations going into people's personal stuff, we're like way out of like what we care about with politics or anything like that. Surrogate to surrogate. But then it goes all the way up. Like I did the discussion and saw in Middle MAGA, the blog site, Wes Hunt went after Ron DeSantis, saying that Ron DeSantis said that there was some net benefit to slavery. Man, if you come up and you misconstrue my take to that extent, and you don't, you can misconstrue a take. But then if I tell you this is what I mean and you don't correct it, we are not reconciling. So we're getting really close to the point where we're at irreconcilable differences between the Trump and DeSantis camp. And if that happens, there is no path for Donald Trump to win. So it's tough because you're in a boxing match and really DeSantis can hit harder than Trump because Trump's the leader. And if Trump hits hard and like smashes DeSantis, you've got DeSantis supporters that I don't think when you go into that booth by yourself or you're filling out that mail-in ballot, wherever you fill in your mail-in ballot, and you look at that and you remember the vitriol during the primary that you don't want to have put back together, you might even choose Biden. I don't see a path for Trump unless he puts it back together. That's why I suggested him to have Ron DeSantis as VP. And I just don't break the bond to the point where that's impossible. And maybe we're already past that. I don't know. Not a war crime. They're settlers. I don't know. What is really a war crime? War is war. For me, I just go from it. I don't really get into the war crime stuff. I'm not an expert in what a war crime is. Who's deciding that? I really more go into what's right or wrong. What am I supporting or what am I not supporting? I'm not supporting you bombing a refugee camp for one random nigga I can't confirm that you killed. I mean, I don't know what the other take is other than that. I honestly don't know. We're talking about innocent people. Where do they do that at? Where you sacrifice 100 innocent people for one dude, other than Waco? Where they do that at? TNT Psycho says, "Come on, y'all. Let's." TNT Psycho, come on, y'all. Let's be mature on this, man. We see. I just said. Let's not break the bond with the DeSantis camp to the point, and then so I've got multiple things that are a problem. I said let's not break the bond with the DeSantis camp to the point where we can't put it back together. Like what? 3 days ago, I did a live saying that Ron DeSantis should be impeached. So don't listen to me. I'm just the hypocrite on the mic. What I was gonna do, TNT. I was gonna go after you. Because I was like, let's be kind of not throwing punches too heavy. And you say, TNT said in the chat, bro stuffs his shoes and who knows what else. Laugh my ass off. So I was going to go after you, TNT, to blame you for like breaking that bond where we can't put it back together. And then I thought about it. I was like, I did like a 3-hour live where I repeated over and over for 3 hours that dude should be impeached. So I guess I'm not going to say anything. I have nothing to say to you, TNT, and I stand on it. And so I have nothing to say to you, TNT Psychos PDX. But I mean, I can do that because I'm not. I'm gonna do a cutout for my cutout rule for myself. I'm not voting for none of y'all either. Anyway, so I guess I'm just saying, put it if you want to put it back together for your purposes. But it is a tough decision, though. It's really tough, and I could change my mind. It's very tough when you look at it and you're like, well, could Biden win? Would you rather? I mean, that's the argument. It's like, wait, would you rather have Biden win? And because you're being principled about Trump not debating and whatever, my vote won't matter. Let me tell you why my vote won't matter. I'm in Colorado. He might not even be on the ballot. Unconstitutional wildness. I mean, what is there to cover about that? I'm not covering it. There's nothing to cover. It's one of the, it's when I say that there's a secession happening in the country already. So when I say I want peaceful secession, you don't see that in Colorado, they've already seceded. They're trying to pull somebody off of the ballot that hasn't even been convicted of anything. That's just obviously not a part of the country. You don't need to be any legal scholar. So that's it. I guess TNT Psychos, I just brought your chat up to say nothing. TNT says, I really wanted DeSantis as VP for Trump, but his supporters attacked me so much, I just can't. I think I can't tell you what to do. I hate that. I hate that. I hate seeing that. I have no problem going heads up. I talked about productive tension, basically, good tension. And what I'm seeing, though, with the supporter level is not productive tension. Believe it or not, I've gone after, for the first time ever, I've gone after Carrie Lake. Not hard, but I've pushed back against Carrie Lake with her stance with Israel. She's a I stand with Israel person. and I've pushed back against that. She was up there talking about Rashida Tlaib and her anti-Semitism. I'm like, I don't need that. You straying off of the America First. She never said she was America First, but you're straying off of where I want you to be. So that I think is good tension, but this supporter tension is not. And DeSantis supporters, let me give you some feedback. Just laugh at yourself. Like, it's not that serious. Your man's wearing high heels and boots. It's pretty much confirmed. He never denied it. Well, he said that they're stock off the shelf, whatever. It's pretty much confirmed. We can see because your foot's in the boot and it's like this, and with the heel in the back, and that's why it looks like this. Like we can see it, Rod. And I don't know, man. Just have fun with it. Just be like, I don't know. I got stilettos covered with Timbos, basically. Just be honest about it, and have fun with it. And say like, hey, yeah, it's adding 4 inches to my height. For all you short men out there, when your woman puts on those high heels, rock the boots like I got. And then come up with your own brand. You could be like, these are the DeSantis stilettos. They're not really stilettos. If you don't like that term stilettos like Zelensky has, then you've got mine. They're man stilettos. It would be like, remember, you got the man stilettos. This is the DeSantis stilettos. Jeb, if you're a fan of Jeb Bush, if you're a fan of Kevin McCarthy, if you're a fan of Brian Kemp, you rock these stilettos, and it give you a couple more inches, and then people will respect you more. You get closer to that Donald Trump 6'3" kind of mark. Have fun with it. Embrace it. James Flom, thanks for stopping by. Let's go to the Citizens United. This came up a while back. I'm going to talk about Yang math, make America think harder. As bitch-made as the person behind this movement has become, I still relish. This is the only political garb other than, well, the Libertarian Party. I don't know if I even count that, but I guess I should. But this is the first one I've purchased two. Well, I've just been a member. I didn't really buy it separately, but I'm a member of the Libertarian Party for whatever that's worth. I actually have to look. I don't know what that even means. I just want to give them money. But this is the first piece of political garb or gear, paraphernalia I've ever purchased. First piece I've ever purchased. I think this was, I don't know, $20, $30. Actually, inflation is crazy. I don't think you could probably do this for $20, $30, especially as a donation. Probably be $40 now. Maybe I did pay $40, I forget. But I rarely even worn it. Even though it looks kind of messed up, I still, the bill's still straight. I never even maybe worn it once. This is Andrew Yang. 2020 Yang. I voted for Yang in 2020. Make America think harder. This guy's ideas are so good that they're ingrained in me. And they're so good that he's bitch man. He's just a complete bitch now. I cannot describe how disappointed I am, but you could see how he could get bought out. Allegedly, he could get bought out from being a rebel. Because when he was in his prime, during that 2020, he was a disruptor. Even on CNN, when he went on CNN, he was a disruptor. Now he's basically a Asian version of Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, basically. He's kind of a younger Asian version. He's a young, thin version of Dick Cheney now. Went from that to that. They swoop in real quick when they see that they need to. Just like Donald Trump, they couldn't buy him off. They couldn't. What are they going to do? He's already self-made. He got all the people, so they go ahead and arrest him 4 times, hem him up in New York multiple other times. You've got the CEO. I believe it's the current CEO of, or let me say this. I know this for sure. One of the co-founders for LinkedIn, funding the rape allegation against Donald Trump. You know, that one that was from years. I don't know. I don't get into he said, she said. But that thing was from years ago, statute of limitations out. He was able to fund that. And there's more problems with it than that. And to go after Donald Trump. And that's just some of it. Everything. It's been the populist, the FTX scandal, everything been against him. So when they see somebody with prominence that's going against, they swoop in. Swoop in to buy him out and get him up out of there. So they do those gradual things until you get JFK'd. That's the last level. You get Martin Luther King. You get Huey Newton. You get Malcolm next. You get X'd out. That's the last phase. And that's why we need to get some reform we need campaign reform. What was, before I get into Josh Hawley's proposal, what was Citizens United? This is a very famous case. And I still got to look it up to kind of make sure I'm on point when I talk about it. And this case here was about campaign finance. But what it really came down to, I'm going to talk about, is how do you view corporations? Disabuse yourself of the quaint notion that campaign finance was ever a level playing field. So this decision from Citizens United, it didn't just tweak the rules, it blasted them into orbit. It completely annihilated them. This is from 2010. The Supreme Court's ruling in Citizens United v. the FEC. FEC was akin to swapping out a playground seesaw for a rocket launcher, lifting the ban that kept corporations and unions from making independent expenditures and financing electioneering communications. This wasn't just a legal adjustment, it was a tectonic dance that boogied the American political arena into a new rhythm of chaos. And we've been struggling to kind of respond ever since. The only person who's really been able to break through of that is Donald Trump. Because ever since 2015, August, he came down the escalator. He has dominated the whole news cycle every single day. TNT said no trick-or-treaters, so I'm all hopped up on chocolate. It's weird how some years we've had a lot, and this year we've had more. I think we're getting back to pre-pandemic trick-or-treaters. And we handed out a lot of candy. They got a lot of candy. Yeah. My son went out, got some candy too. So Halloween's cool. I did not dress up today. Oh, this is kind of funny though, before I continue on with this geeky stuff. We got invited for the kids over to a Halloween party. So I pretty much didn't have to, but got dressed up. So I was Steve Urkel. I don't have the picture. I would share the picture. My wife took the picture. I didn't ask her to share it with me yet, so I actually don't even have the picture. But I dressed up as Steve Urkel. I guess it kind of turned out all right. Somebody thought I was Blippy. Somebody thought I was a black Blippy because I guess if you know who Steve Urkel is, you're old now. As you can see, the grays, I mean, you're old. If you know who Steve Urkel is, it's weird to think about, but you're probably pretty old. Not old, but you know what I mean. But part of the outfit were these bands for your glasses. So I messed around and made it part of my repertoire. I was like, these are convenient. So I don't care if you call me Kurt Rambis. Did Horace Grant have these too? I think the people that used to wear the goggles back in the day, you can go ahead and get your jokes out. I'm going to stand on this. I'm going to stand on this hill. I'm going to be like a one-man army against everybody who want to have jokes about me with my eyeglasses band. These are functional. So my wife was like, I told my wife, like, these are now part of the repertoire, and we had to go to this Halloween thing, and I started using them, and I like them. So they will be, just to give her that warning, Kind of like if Casey's going to go out with her man wearing high heel boots, she's got to sign off on that. So I kind of was like nudging my wife, like, and my wife was like, hell no. She was like, I'm not signing off on that. See, I told you it's Casey's problem. So these bands, my wife was like, no, hell no, I'm not signing off on them. So if we go, she was like, basically like, we go in public, this is not happening. I was like, okay, you got to sign off on them, but we're not in public now, so I can rock them like this. I like it. I'm gonna make this cool. I don't care what nobody's saying. And this stemmed from the costume, because he had the eyeglass holders or whatever. Then he had the straps, the suspenders. I wore those, and I had the pants rolled up and everything. So there's some good things that come from it. What do they call those? I don't know what they call them. Okies, is that what they call them? Yeah, I think I've heard that term before. Whatever they call them, I'm rocking them. Speaking of old, now I'm older, I understand the ramifications of this ruling. Supreme Court's ruling really changed the game. Before this landmark shimmy of jurisprudence, there were regulations in place to curb the influence of big money in politics. But these were seen as necessary safety nets to maintain some semblance of fairness in political contest. But Citizens United, which was a Republican group, by the way, declared these restrictions as unconstitutional. They argued they clipped off the wings of the First Amendment's guarantee of freedom of speech. Yeah, I thought the Bill of Rights was for people. The result, a deluge of corporate and union money flooding into the political system, drowning out the voices of you and I in the chat and individual voters. Probably without that, you wouldn't see Google having the power that they have now. I mean, they pay for the power. So now that they can censor, they know they can censor. Nobody's coming for them. Nobody can touch them because we haven't done the proper legislative actions to protect people's First Amendment rights. The impact was immediate and transformative. Corporations now unshackled could freely spend to support or oppose candidates. Let me give you an example. And this is not a diss. And when I say that, I mean that to be very serious, not a diss at all. And if somebody takes it as a diss, then I'm sorry that they do. But this is not a diss, but I do need to go through it. This SBF FTX stuff makes it very stupid for MAGA to say I'm Israel first. And in this post, this goes right with the Citizens United. You know, I like to take a topic and then take a side mission that hopefully is along the side of that topic. This gets me very heated. This is why I'm now ex-MAGA. MAGA is now my ex-bitch. We're not dating anymore. We're not married anymore. We've gotten a divorce. Now, I want it to be peaceful. I want it to be an amicable divorce. But I am going to call out how stupid you are. That will happen. If you are MAGA and you're saying you stand with Israel, this has nothing to do with standing with citizens that are innocent that got abducted, killed, even those who made it out and got frightened, or any Israeli citizens. It's not against them. But what you need to do is you can't, for me, you can't say that without getting heat. For me, I stand with Israel and be MAGA. That's just complete asinine. You need to parse that out, and every single time if you say I stand with Israel, I stand with innocent Israeli citizens, or however you want to parse that out, because that can mean the government as well. And the government's problematic. Via the Times of Israel, according to Open Secrets, which tracks campaign finances, SBF donated about $40 million to the U.S. midterm election campaigns. So this is Sam Bankman-Fried, who made his money through an illegal Ponzi scheme, FTX. The illegal Ponzi scheme was allowed to continue by the same government that benefited from the donations from the Ponzi scheme. about $40 million to the U.S. midterm election campaigns for many candidates supported by pro-Israel groups. So he's stealing money. This isn't taxation like libertarians say taxation is theft. No, this is theft as theft. Stealing money from people, using it for political purposes to kind of buy off potentially the people that would regulate you or look into you. But then at the same time, you're buying them off, it looked like for a cause as well. That's what he said. That's what his mom said. These pro-Israel groups support these candidates. He donated to those candidates, including the Democratic Majority for Israel and United Democracy Project, an AIPAC-affiliated super PAC. SBF also donated 250 large directly to DMFI PAC last May. These PACs are how these PACs were born. The power of these PACs, at least, was born out of the Citizens United decision. Not only that, out of the Citizens United decision, we have money that SBF, FTX could have donated dark, just like Soros could be donating more money dark than you even see public. We can't trace that. We don't know where that is. And in the 2020 election campaign, he was among the top donors to Joe Biden's campaign with a personal contribution of $5.2 million. And so you see pro-Israel causes, Israeli lobby groups involved with taking money from SBF, who stole it from regular people. And then on top of that, the same person takes it to Joe Biden and anti-MAGA, anti-Donald Trump people. You cannot say I stand with Israel without helping me understand that you understand that. Care to respond, Donald Trump? Care to respond, Kerry Lake, Matt Gaetz? Also you, even Robert Barnes, who's called this out more than those guys have. But Robert Barnes says, I don't know if he says I stand with Israel, but he says Hamas can have the ability to get a nuke. So I don't know why he brings that up. What does that have to do with anything? That's Israel's got to handle that. Israel has their nukes. That's like saying, well, Ukraine could get Russia's nukes. I know. I mean, that wouldn't happen. But what are you doing with the Ukraine war then if they can't? But any country could get another country's nukes. What does that have to do with me? That's the downside to having nukes all over. What are we, the nuke police? I know that's dangerous, or it could happen. You've got to defend your homeland. There's going to be a lot of craziness going on outside. And that's a clip of the article. Robert Barnes discussed this on, I don't know if I've played this or not, but I'm going to play it again. Robert Barnes discussed this on one of my favorite shows, Viva and Barnes.
In his public image.
But where did the money go? Like, they're going to have to account for where the money went. It went to various...
well, almost all of that's been excluded from the trial due to the indictment, due to the sweetheart deal they cut with him, and implicitly by extradition. By only
So what he's talking about here can be a little bit convoluted to understand. I had to look into this. The way they did the extradition with Sam Bankman-Fried was to rush it through from the Bahamas to say, when you do extradition, you have to make a deal. And what they did was they made a quick deal with him. And that quick deal was, we're not going to look into the campaign financing problems that I just showed you right there. So you stole money from people. You funded the Democrats to go against MAGA, to go against America First people. And then the same administration, this is Joe Biden's administration, they say, let's make a deal. The deal is Bahamas, you let us get him. We're not going to go after him for any campaign finance laws.
They rushed. Now it's clear to me why they rushed to extradite him. Because I was like, why are they rushing to extradite this politically protected guy who's buddies with the SEC, whose family, whose funds helped elect Joe Biden president? Why are they doing that? It was to keep control over where the case might go. That by extraditing him quickly on just the fraud charges, when they brought the illegal campaign contribution charges, they had to dismiss those because under extradition, the rule of specialty,
they didn't negotiate them into the extradition before they extradited.
They didn't do it on purpose. On purpose, they didn't negotiate it in. We have conflict of interest. Why would they negotiate into the extradition something that would go against their administration, basically their boss?
Be in there. Otherwise, it's dismissed. No personal jurisdiction for those charges, nor did they ever try to, and you can't renew them. Robert, so they rushed the arrest and extradition.
Now, I looked into this. I would like to ask Robert Barnes, from what I looked into it from using ChatGPT and searching, is that they could still pursue them. It would just be difficult, and then the Bahamas would have to agree. I don't know the full details there, but it looks like it's still possible they could do it, like a state, like Ken Paxton could go after SBF.
To make sure nobody would ever hear or see what the scam was really all about.
When you say rushed, is it rushed? Sorry, is it rushed or is it rushed? And this was all part of the scheme to ensure that those charges were not brought at the time?
It was definitely all part of the scheme. I mean, he doesn't benefit from this because he faces federal prison for a long time, but the system did. And once it was out that this guy was a scam artist, they were afraid that some other prosecutor randomly, some state prosecutor, somebody else would go after him in ways that would go to the issues of how he was the fundraising tool for the Biden campaign.
So they had this whole thing planned. I mean, allegedly. From the get-go, he's stealing the money, we're taking it, we pretend like we don't know about it, then we shut it down, then we know we won't let it go anywhere because we'll extradite and we'll make a deal that we can't talk about the finance part.
Of 2020, the underlying Biden campaign, the get out the vote campaign, get those dead people out, get those people.
How was that financed in 2020? In part because of Sam Bankman-Fried. Who else benefited from Sam Bankman-Fried, and who else's interest did? Israel, pro-Israel groups in America.
Voting, you didn't know they were voting, get those felons voting, getting those kids voting, all of that. That
Barnes doesn't even make that connection. I don't understand why people are Barnes obviously knows that that's true. It's obviously a problem. I haven't heard him make that connection.
Machine was heavily funded by his source of funds. And so you had to keep a lid on that at least through 2024. How do you do that? You say, we're going to do justice and make sure we get Sam Bankman-Fried and we're going to move to extradite him immediately and arrest him immediately on these horrendous fraud charges. And then, oh, golly gee, we can't bring these other charges? Well, what? We tried, but, it didn't work out.
So that's the end of that clip there. But then the discussion here goes towards Ron.
In his public.
Somebody I respect. I really like a lot. I've just found out about Ron Coleman. He was just on recently on Timcast. I've spoken highly of him, still think very highly of him. But I will use this as an example of, if you want to know how we got here, this is how we got here, this cognitive dissonance. And Ron's actually been out on a limb more than other people on this issue, but here we're seeing a big blind spot, a big problem, and this is why our country's where we're at. An example of why. So then I lay this out, and maybe it's not laid out in the best way because it's Twitter. I'm not doing verbal explanation with it like I'm doing right now. And Ron Coleman says, this seems like a sack full of non sequiturs, and I'm confused. Because he could be more specific with what his concerns are. He did not. So then I asked him, okay. Then I asked him, well, are you saying my concerns are unfounded? He said, I'm saying I don't know what your concerns are based on the post. So maybe I didn't explain myself well enough, but we're talking about everything I just laid out. Maybe he didn't watch the video. I don't know. That's a lot to do in one post. That's a lot packed in there. But, I mean, if you're going to contest it, then you probably have to unpack it. Otherwise, you just skip on. And I think he's a good person, and I think it's his morality that's coming out of him to want him to ask more questions here. So he's saying, I don't know what your concerns are based on. You don't know what my concerns are with pro-Israel groups. You don't understand my concern with me being upset at MAGA candidates saying they stand with Israel. At least I think Carrie Lake has. So Carrie Lake, I know for sure Donald Trump and Matt Gaetz have, but I'm putting Carrie Lake in there. She said that too. Carrie Lake, those are the three of the top MAGA people, at least that I look at. Not that they labeled themselves MAGA or whatever, but those are the three of the top. I don't know. I don't think many people will argue that. They say they stand with Israel. I've never heard them talk about this problem. This problem of, just in general, the Israeli lobby groups are a problem. The dual citizenship is a problem. We don't even know how many people have dual citizenship. Why do people who represent us have dual citizenships with another damn country? I don't care what country it is. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's separate. I said you stand with Israel, but then pro-Israel lobbying groups in America took money from a Ponzi scheme. Right there. Proof, it's right there. It's admitted. This isn't speculation. This isn't a conspiracy theory. Did they give it back? Are they saying, I'm sorry? I'm not hearing anybody even talk about it. So I need to have that understood. So when I say I don't stand with Israel, I'm talking about their government. I'm talking about these problems right here. That's simple. I mean, that should be easy to understand. So I'm like, wait, what is going on here? So I'm like, FTX, a confirmed illegal Ponzi scheme, channeled funds to pro-Israel interest groups like AIPAC and United Democracy Project and DMFI. Full stop. Before we go further, do you have a problem with that? I mean, that alone is a problem. And then we went on the information that I tweeted there. He said that then yes, he has a problem. He went on to clarify that part that 250K went to one, and this is just the money we know of. We can't count the dark money if there was any, and donated to many candidates supported. So that he's saying that it didn't go directly to the groups; it just went to candidates supported by the groups. What's the difference? I mean, the groups exist to buy off my politicians in America so they worry about their country more than mine. And the money went to those candidates. So I think it's still fair. It's still fair to say I don't stand with Israel. This is just one, there's many reasons for the Israel government that I don't stand with. This is just one of them. And so he's like, he didn't really like that. He said, let's nonetheless take from here. SBF donated money, stolen, yep. He's not a good guy, to DMFI, a pro-Israel PAC, for unknown reasons. It doesn't matter what the reasons are. I don't like Israel for their lobbying groups taking money from stolen scheme here, knowing it's a stolen scheme and not. They could offer to say, hey, we didn't know it was a stolen scheme. My bad. Here's the money back. Why couldn't they do that? He is not known to have any particular connection or interest in Israel. Well, besides that, that's a pretty big connection. I don't need any other connection to Israel besides that. I don't care who. He's stealing money and giving it to pro-Israel groups. It's a problem. Now, what is the rest of the argument? What is the rest of the argument? That's a problem. Then I was like, do you agree that SBF FTX was an anti-MAGA, anti-Donald Trump, anti-populist right scheme? And then he says no after that. No, I think it was a steal a bunch of money scheme that was used politically savvy donations to ward off scrutiny. I'm certainly open to contrary evidence, which would not surprise me, but my take so far is that Sam and his parents are just greedy, unprincipled bastards. No, that's not what they are, but that's not the extent. There's more. But wait, there's more. This is why Citizens United was such a big problem. I said, you don't think FTX was an anti-populist right scam? There's many pieces of evidence to go towards this, but let's just go through this one thing here. Tell me which one of these things you disagree with. FTX stole money from its cryptocurrency exchange customers and redirected them to political causes. Sam Bankman-Fried, CEO of FTX and the hedge fund, I believe it was a hedge fund, Alameda Research, contributed to the super PAC. There's the super PACs empowered by the Citizens United ruling. Contributed to the super PAC Mind the Gap. Mind the Gap just so happened to be co-founded by Sam Bankman-Fried's mama, Barbara Fried, proving multiple direct ties to this organization. So he stole money from people, gave it to the super PAC, Mind the Gap, which was co-founded by his own mom. Mind the Gap, they're not even trying to hide it here. Mind the Gap is a super PAC aimed at supporting Democratic candidates and opposing Donald Trump. That's their wording. Mind the Gap advised billionaire Reid and other billionaires too. But let's look at Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn co-founder, on campaign contributions. So this company advised him. How does Reid Hoffman think about this? Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, has openly expressed his willingness to spend extensively to counter Trump's political ambitions, with his political philanthropy largely focused on reducing the political influence, not just of Donald Trump. It's not just like a Democrat. No. The populist right of Trump MAGA movement. That's what he wants. That's what he's going after. This is from him. This is well known, out in the open. The same anti-populist Biden GOJ that calls MAGA extremists, all that, who benefited from the Ponzi scheme, used selective extradition to protect SBF from any illegal campaign contribution charges. This is what I was talking about, the rape trial funded by Reid Hoffman. So I have the receipts to much of what I said there. And in response, and this is the last one I'll do, it's not even the extent of it, and Sam Bankman-Fried considered paying Trump $5 billion not to run. It's just, there's a lot of stuff here. And Ron still says no. I think it was a steal a bunch of money scheme. Same thing he said before, use politically savvy donations. And I'm like, which part of my bullet point do you disagree with? None. They're all factual statements. And he still does not acknowledge that whole thing, that the heart of that money was used against the populist right. And not even acknowledging it could be in some way, not even a little bit. That's how we've gotten to where we are now. How did the justice, let's go back to Citizens United, how did the justices rule on this case here? Like I said, I have problems with Alito. I have problems with Thomas. In the Citizens United versus the FEC case decided in 2010, it was 5-4. From the justices that we've got here, Roberts was in favor. So this was in favor of giving Citizens United First Amendment rights and then to allow them to spend money unlimited through these PACs. Alito voted for it. Anthony Kennedy voted for it, not around now, authored the opinion. Scalia, rest in peace, voted for it, and Clarence Thomas. They all voted in favor of Citizens United. I think it was a terrible ruling. Against, believe it or not, Sonia Sotomayor, she was a lot different. I think she was more lucid back then. And rest in peace, RBG voted against it. So you've got the people that you kind of count on now. They're in a different place now than 2010, but they voted against it. So let's look at, I'm going to end with this on Citizens United. Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley created a bill. It's a very short bill. It's literally like 2-3 pages. And he did a bill on it. The bill to keep corporate America's dollars out of U.S. politics. And he said, for decades, corporate America has funneled billions of dollars into elections in favor of politicians who favor their woke social agendas instead of American voters' interests. This legislation would hold mega corporations' feet to the fire and stop their dollars from buying our elections. And it would in some sense, and in some sense it would not. He thinks his bill will undo the Supreme Court's decision. I don't think it will. And I'm going to break it down and end with comparing it to Andrew Yang's democracy dollars. Andrew Yang's democracy dollars is a much better idea. Very hard to implement. I understand that it'll be because it would cost a lot of money from the federal government. But we seem to find billions for Israel. We seem to find billions for Ukraine. I don't want to hear that this is not possible. Definitely not in the mood for that. If you look at it, democracy dollars proposed giving every American $100 per year to donate to politicians they support. This concept aims to amplify the voices of ordinary citizens in the public process. By doing so, it seeks to drown out the influence of mega donors and corporations. Unlike the legislative proposal by Josh Hawley, democracy dollars focuses on the demand side of campaign finance reform by empowering citizens to contribute more easily. You give everybody $100, you've now increased the demand. There's no demand for me to donate $100 to anybody right now. You're creating demand by allowing people to do that. Let's compare them. Josh Hawley's bill is very narrow. I actually should have broken down that bill a little bit. Let me see if I have it broken down here enough. Okay, the bill focuses on limiting contributions from corporations, while democracy dollars aims to empower individual citizens. I believe populism is the belief that as many people as that power should be distributed to as many people as possible. The more populist stance would be democracy dollars. Hawley is trying to limit contributions, and it's not even limiting it. It's not doing it very well. And so I would prefer distributing power through the democracy dollars. Hawley's bill uses prohibition as its mechanism, making it illegal for corporations to contribute. Very hard. How do you enforce this stuff? Democracy dollars, even if you can't afford, you can't enforce these illegal contributions, democracy dollars floods the zone with small dollar money from people that really would outshine any corporate dollars because people would have so much money. This is what I'm saying here. Flood the political system with a large volume of small donations. You want people going after small donations after small donations, not these big ones like DeSantis. That's why DeSantis is all over the place. That's why DeSantis hasn't thanked Trump supporters. He hasn't had to. His people he needs to thank are the big dollar donors. If Ron DeSantis in this system, he would be, thank you for your support, MAGA. Here's what I would do, MAGA. I can do better than Donald Trump here, but he would have to go to them. He doesn't have to go to them now. He's kissing the boots, of the big donors. The feasibility is the problem with democracy dollars. Where do you get the money from? It would require a lot of financial commitment from the government. The same government that gets bought off by the large money. Why would the government even reallocate funds for this? The bill wouldn't require that much money other than beefing up enforcement. Democracy dollars would require a new system for distributing and tracking the vouchers. That would be some red tape. That would be some time. Public versus corporate influence. Democracy dollars aims to increase public participation. I do want to go back to this here, actually, because I need to talk about the problems with Hawley's bill. I thought I had the problems spelled out better in that one, and then I promise you that's the end of our geek session with this. I think this is good. I like that we're talking about this. Hawley's bill is. I'm not surprised because Hawley did the TikTok bill. I believe he did. I believe he sponsored that, or he was really big on it, and that bill was trash. So I'm not surprised about that, about this here. But this is not as trash as the TikTok bill, but it's just it's more for show. So here, the bill defines publicly traded corporations to include their affiliates, but the term is vague. Companies could use shell corporations or subsidiaries to bypass restrictions. There's a lot of loopholes. That's why the democracy dollars is better, because even with the loopholes, the money to people would flood the system over all this stuff. Private corporations. The bill targets publicly traded corporations. Believe that or not. Read the fine print. The bill targets publicly traded corporations, leaving privately held companies and other entities free to contribute. That wouldn't change anything. I still like this, taking the Overton window in this direction, but if you leave private corporations out of this, that doesn't change anything. PACs and super PACs. The bill doesn't address contributions to PACs, just like Mind the Gap I just talked about with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. And super PACs. They can still receive unlimited funds and indirectly support candidates. Not good. Foreign influence. The bill doesn't tackle the issue of foreign-owned corporations that are publicly traded in the U.S., leaving a gap for potential foreign influence, like we have now. We just talked about that with Israel. In-kind contributions. While the bill restricts financial contributions, it does not mention in-kind contributions like free advertising or other non-monetary support. Individual executives, high-ranking executives, and board members of publicly traded corporations, even on the publicly traded ones, could still make personal contributions. But I'm actually not too concerned about that one as much, because they should be held to the personal limit. Issue advocacy. Corporations might still fund issue advocacy campaigns that don't explicitly endorse a candidate but can influence public opinion. That's not too bad. The influence is a tough one. Without robust enforcement mechanisms, corporations may find ways to flout the rules. How do you even enforce this? It doesn't apply to state and local. There's a really good clip from Elon Musk, and I think it's on the Discord. Yeah, it's on the Discord, I believe. Let's go to the Discord. I have to find where it is on the Discord now, because we're looking at a lot of videos on the Discord, which is great. Thanks for everybody who's contributing on the Discord. Let's see here. On the Discord, there was a clip of Elon Musk with Joe Rogan. I have not had a chance to listen to it, so I cannot comment on that whole show yet. I have thoughts. I have seen clips like this one here, if I can find it. I'm sure I can find it on Twitter now, but I just saw that. I don't know why I'm having so much a hard time finding it in the Discord, no less. I swear, maybe it wasn't the Discord, because I'm in. Oh yeah, it was the Discord. I found it. Sir Jeffrey's boyfriend in the Discord, and here it is. Sir Jeffrey's boyfriend in the Discord posts. This is it here, I believe. I had to go to okay. So I thought it was embedded. That's the problem. It's not embedded in the Discord. It's just a link to Twitter or X. Hawley's bill would not tackle state and local elections. I don't think it can. I don't know if it can. But the fact still remains that somebody has found out local elections are that deal. And we know who that person is, the chancellor.
And Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing. In my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. Getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole?
I mean, he's pushing things in other countries too,
He's
not
doing
just
the
here.
same thing.
Yeah. Now, George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, you know, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his first money, was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is...
What he's really talking about is influence. So if I spend $1 to get influence and enact change, I get more bang for my buck influence-wise affecting local races. The only problem is that you only affect that local radius. But he quickly found out I can go to these DAs in different counties and these big counties, and we can make a lot of change real quickly. No need for the legislative body because the DA can just choose who to prosecute, who can. This is a big loophole in our country that I have not seen exploited until Soros. I can donate to all these DAs instead of donating to the presidential candidate. That's what Elon's saying here. And then these DAs all over the country, they can hide crime because they can look at certain crime and say, I don't want to prosecute it. And then they can look at the same crime committed by somebody else and say, you're my political enemy. I do want to prosecute it. Or for whatever reason, I do want to prosecute it with you. That way you can really interpret the law. The law can say one thing and you can say, That's why DeSantis had to kick out, I believe it was Andrew Warren, that the DA there, I believe there was some ties to Soros with Andrew Warren. Andrew Warren was like, I'm not going to abide by these abortion laws. And there's a mechanism in Florida to boot him up out of there. That's the control that, so Soros is like, even if your state is, pro-life, I can buy a DA off in your, basically, not even buy him off, but I can donate to a DA that I know will agree because I can't prove the buy off part, but I can get you a DA in that race. Nobody's really flooding these races with money other than me. So I know I can buy these off, bang for the buck, and then essentially I can have them tell you no.
Is a Senate race, then a Congress, and but once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws. You just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law or the laws are differentially enforced.
It's not really enforced, it's how they're prosecuted. You can change how you prosecute, who you prosecute. Enforced is, I think, a little bit, I would say, more localized with like police. And that's a good clip, and that's what's happening. We've talked about that. But I think it's good to hear it from someone like Elon. And I see Eric Smith had a problem with it. A lot of people having problems. I think people are, even Eric Smith, been friend of the show. I think a lot of people are having problems navigating this morally. I think that's a big problem here. Eric Smith said, I thought this was about Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders. And Josh Hawley, I basically did cover. Josh Hawley agrees with Bernie Sanders on Citizens United, generally speaking. And I didn't bring up Bernie, but it's the same, they agree on that. I wanted to highlight on Josh Hawley and his bill. And Eric Smith said, this is some Jew hatred stuff. I'm trying to find where there was Jew hatred. I would like a quote. I mean, if you're going to accuse somebody of Jew hatred, I would like a quote, at least. Paraphrase, at least. I mean, paraphrase is not good enough. I mean, you would need to. I would need to hear a quote. I don't even know if I said the word Jewish until I read this comment. So I think people are struggling during this time, and that's why I said you need to have a moral foundation. My moral foundation doesn't give a damn about a Jew, a Palestinian, a black person, a white person, Israel, Iran, whatever. My moral foundation stays the same. I don't give a damn about a MAGA, First America First, a Trump, Kerry Lake. I don't give a damn about none of that. So when my morals stay the same, when somebody crosses my morals, we're gonna have a problem. The Israeli government has crossed my morals, and you will definitely see hate for the Israeli government from me. Oh, absolutely. And if you want to conflate that with Jew hate, that's on you. I don't even talk about. I'm not even a religious expert, so I'm not even an expert in Judaism, so I don't even get into that. Nick Fuentes will. But I don't get into that because I'm not as knowledgeable as him. So I think we're in that realm where it's going to be difficult. This is good though. This is a good decoupling, a good fractioning of, I think, the country overall. We guys just have to make sure it's peaceful. But there's going to be trouble to listen to this live because Israel is, I think Israel is orders of magnitude more of a problem for me than even China. And it's going to be a reoccurring theme until I see something different. It's going to be a reoccurring theme about railing against that Israeli government constantly. I am not in the mood. That Israeli government is behind a lot of the stuff that's happening. And I don't see any of my politicians with dual citizenships in China. So, if criticizing the Israeli government is going to be looked at as Jew hatred by somebody, this will not be a good channel because we're going to get into a lot of Israeli government. Because I've been very strong against the Israeli government, and I have to back that up. I haven't even touched the surface. We haven't even begun with the problems I have with the Israeli government. You're going to see a reoccurring theme. You're going to see it over and over and over. They are behind a lot of the problems we have right now. They represent a lot. Now the Middle East stuff has popped off. You really haven't even heard me talk about Israel that much until the Middle East stuff popped off. And then I'm like, whoa. Yeah, maybe this is something I should have been talking about. But you don't want to get over your skis. For me, I don't want to get into a topic that I'm not ready to talk about. But when the Middle East stuff popped off, all the puzzle pieces that I had been kind of collecting along the way started being put together to a big middle finger to that Israeli government. They are not an ally of mine. They are not a friend of mine. They're an enemy of mine. That Israeli government, that is not. We got big problems. We got big problems with that. So I do not stand with Israel. I'm not a friend of Israel. You have not convinced me that I should be a friend of Israel. They need to get it together. Stay up out of my wallet. Stay up out of my country. Stay up out of my politicians. There's going to be a lot of conversations about that. There was an artificial intelligence executive order that was, I guess it was officially laid out. What do you say with I absolutely hate executive orders. So what an executive order basically is let's look at the presidential, but it happens at the mayor, gubernatorial level as well. The executive says, this is basically the law that I would want to give to the whole country or my whole government, but I can only do it in the executive branch because I can't get it passed in the legislative branch. That's basically what it is. Sometimes you could say, well, I'm going to do an executive order because I don't have time. No. It's very rare that you see somebody do an executive order, then right after it have their legislative body do a bill. If it was really about timing, like the pandemic, you would do the executive, even though I don't like this, you would still do the executive order, whatever it is, mask or whatever it is. Then you would tell your legislative body, get the bill started now. So I just did the EO to get it out there quick, and then your bill is going to come right behind it. We never saw that, not once anywhere in the country. So no, I don't know if I can find a case of that. Maybe there has been. But the executive order is typically used to do something that you could not get done with the consensus of all branches of government. That's really what it's become. And you know that my interest was piqued when we started talking about executive orders for artificial intelligence. And here it is. We're here. I'm going to talk about two pieces of it. It's actually pretty mundane. I looked over all of it. It's pretty mundane, actually. There are some concerns. I mean, some of it, I might even say some of it seems legit. But looking over it here, this is it. Executive order from October 30th on the safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence. So this is by the authority vested in me as president of the president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America. It is hereby ordered as follows. And it goes into, it's pretty long. I mean, there's a lot of pages here. There's a lot. So it's pretty long. There's a lot in there. And I did do a breakdown of the different topics in the bill. And I've been sharing. Let me figure out that. I did have a little breakdown of all the topics in there. Okay, here's my breakdown of all the topics, just to make it concise. Because the bill is so long, it's kind of hard to use that as a reference for the live. So I kind of took it, broke it down. Here's the different sections. There's really two sections, but that second section has all the meat in it. First section's purpose and introduction, and the second section has all the meat. There's also a frequently asked questions part of it too. Policy and guiding principles, AI safety and security, responsible innovation, competition, and collaboration, supporting American workers, advancing equity and civil rights. That is one I am going to parse out. And then I'm going to also parse out some of this responsibility one. That's it. Consumer, because I was looking through, I'm like, which part of these do I need to parse out? The data part's pretty big, but the top two are the equity and responsible innovation, I would say. Then the next one would be the data. They didn't say much about the data. That's why there's not much for me to hang on to there. They didn't say much about any of these, to be honest with you. There's a lot of verbiage about what they were trying to do or what it's supposed to do, but very little on details. Consumer protection, privacy, and civil liberties, federal government's own use of AI, global leadership and collaboration. There's not much in that one because I was curious about that one. It's just really vague, and there could be some weasel words I'm missing in there, but that one was nothing there. I did not actually look too hard in this one, the federal government's own use, so I'll have to go back. I did look at some of these other ones pretty closely, though. I think what I want to do is go straight to the equity one. Equity one is a concern for the DEI nation, and it is the most important takeaway from this document, in my opinion. The reason why is it represents their concern with statistics. I think they believe when you believe in critical race theory, and pretty much critical race theory it's just the belief that everything's racist. It's the easiest way to describe it. But it's also a vehicle to funnel people into, because who decides what racist is? It's not the people that are deciding that. It's the government. It's a way to use neo-Marxism to funnel people into the government. And the big concern is, if you use artificial intelligence and say it's neutral, that would be racist. Because a neutral artificial intelligence would look at any statistic. They would look at black crime. They would look at the black crime rate or different things like that, and they would say, well, here's the probability of this or that. And it would do it based on complete facts. And, I understand that could happen. People, I don't associate with these black Americans, especially these black American Democrats, but I understand people would look at me as a black American. What the AI could do is take me and look at me and say, hey, here's the statistic. You could have a store Yeah, you could have cameras. This executive order did not bring up any examples. There's no specific examples in there, but I'm going to give you some. You could have a store, say Amazon. There are Amazon stores that don't have any registers. It's the honor system. You go in, get your food. Somehow it just can read you who you are through your fingerprints or what. I don't even think you have to do a fingerprint. However it reads you, and you walk out the store. And AI is used in the cameras. What if you have a store? Well, let's say you have a department store with AI in the cameras, and the department store AI knows that a certain percentage of the time, these type of people who are acting a certain way, looking a certain way, dressed a certain way, or have a certain skin color are more likely to do this or that. That's what they're worried about in a sense. They're worried about more than that, but that's partly what they're worried about in this bill. And some of that is legit concern, but I don't know if that's anything for the government to fix. I mean, that is what it is. As long as we have the Bill of Rights, well, as long as you're not infringing on my rights, I don't really have too much of a problem. This is basically the digital version of stereotyping people, but it's based on stats. So the bill mentions a ton in here. It says the bill aims, or not the bill, I always call EOs bills. The executive order is not a bill, but the executive order aims to address algorithmic discrimination through training, technical assistance, and coordination between the Department of Justice and federal civil rights offices. What that means to me is that they want to make sure that ChatGPT, for example, so I'm not going to be able to use this ChatGPT too much longer, because even though this does not apply to OpenAI, if OpenAI wants to be in good graces with Joe Biden, then they would need to comply with this. So it's not legislation, but it's more like this is what the boss wants. This is what the boss of the party wants. So you would have OpenAI before they will get some bipartisan legislation. They'll definitely agree on this enough at some point to basically make this law. I don't think they'll change much. They might make it even worse. But what it's basically saying is we, the Department of Justice, we want to have the ability to define what discrimination looks like through AI. AI is very dangerous because it can go through and say, without looking at it in a discriminatory manner, or you can program biases into it if you have full control over the AI. So you can control it and say, hey, I think this is what I want. I want somebody that fits these things. And then the person that fits these things might be 99% a white person. Now, we've seen that recently there have been statistics of how many people who are hired in the workplace that were non-white. And that's been going up. We've been seeing that. It's not organic. It's a DEI push that really went crazy since George Floyd. And it's really gotten to the point where you've kind of heard people say to this, stuff to the effect is the only remedy for past discrimination is present discrimination. And what the government wants to do is to be able to define discrimination to say it's not discrimination. And that's because you could use AI to analyze the hiring practices over the last, in whatever industry, airplane pilot, doesn't matter. And AI could say, you're hiring a lot of this type of person that's not organic. Something must be happening based on their qualifications, all the data we have. It doesn't seem natural. So AI not only could be making the hiring decisions, helping the hiring decisions. When you submit your resume, it would be scanning your resume. I think they're already basically doing simple AI to do some of that, but you could get more complicated AI to do that. And then now you get into the discrimination standpoint. Is it collecting skin color? Are you demanding a picture? Because AI can scan pictures now. So you see the concern here that people have about it. Statement outlines a plan to ensure fairness throughout the criminal justice system by developing best practices on the use of AI in various aspects of sentencing, parole, and surveillance. And I have ideas on this, but I just thought about this. Let me ask ChatGPT. Give me real world examples that would be covered here. I'm just wondering if it'll give me some real world examples that I didn't think of, especially from the standpoint of criminal justice system. Because my first thought is, before we look at what ChatGPT says, is it's become a great equalizer. I think we've seen people defend themselves, and Dr. Shiva Ayadori didn't tell me this. I should ask him. I was wondering if he was using ChatGPT, because he's defending himself in at least one lawsuit or one case. And with ChatGPT, you can do a lot. If you use extensions like this executive order is too big to copy and paste in here, so I put it and dumped it as a PDF, then had it analyze it. It's not very difficult, but you can do a lot with it. There's some that can allow you to analyze multiple PDFs at the same time. So there's a lot you can do. So let's take a look at this. Sentencing. AI algorithms are sometimes used to predict the likelihood of a defendant's reoffending. Now, I was thinking about that, but I didn't know it was already being done, though. Is that already being done? These predictive models can be biased. That was the World Economic Forum one. I did that segment a while back where I said, it's from the WEF. The WEF said we can predict who's going to do a crime before they can do it. And that's basically what they're talking about. Ensuring fairness would involve auditing and revising these algorithms to eliminate racial or socioeconomic bias. All that is doing is to fight for control over it. That's all that's doing. AI algorithm can decide if you get out or not. Parole decisions. AI can assist in parole boards in analyzing an inmate's behavior, participation in rehabilitation programs, other factors. If the data fed into these systems is biased, it could unfairly influence. But you can use this in a good way too. AI could analyze past people who went out, committed a crime again, see what they did, all the data, and then say, hey, these are the high probability things. They don't guarantee anything, but here's with 60%, 70, 80, 90%, if somebody does all these things within this time frame, they will not commit again. So that's a good use of AI. Facial, we've already talked about that. Facial recognition, police deployment. AI algorithms can predict where and when crimes are likely to occur. That's why it's concerning giving us giving China the data. And right now, you might have seen China wiped on a map. I have to look at I saw the headline. I didn't read the article, but it looked like China removed Israel from a map. Passive aggressive behavior, but you look at it, we could be in a confrontation with them. There's really no reason for us to be going kinetic with China, but it's possible. And because of this recklessness, and China has all the data for where they think humans are going to be, where they are, at what time of day, where you can do EMPs, where they could launch some type of attack and maximize or minimize. Maybe they don't want to hurt a lot of people. They just want to shock the system, where you can maximize or minimize or in the middle-mize casualties or lack thereof or infrastructure attacks through the data. Just like police deployment, they could do wartime deployment. And we don't have that data on China. To my knowledge, there's no way. We don't have an app in China where we could get the same type of data. It's just not there. Joe Farmer says, I haven't seen Joe Farmer in a minute. Joe Farmer says, rid America of deep state from sea to shining sea. Yeah, we can roll them out. This is the beginning of thought crime. This is literally thought crime. Yep, thought crime is a serious thing. It's basically just predictive AI. It's no different than when you use TikTok. TikTok takes all the variables, and like I said, I like uplifting music, like hype music in the morning. I really don't want to wake up to classical music, even though I love classical music. Even though I do get hyped to classical music, so I guess I could wake up to it, like Vivaldi, Four Seasons, or something like that. But or the Jupiter, the planet symphony is very good. Alex Jones plays Jupiter a lot. Beautiful song, and as a buffer song. But they know I like metal in the morning. Metal gets me up, gets me hyped, gets me ready. It's like a little musical coffee. They know what you like at the time you like it. At night, I don't get as many metal. I really don't want to get metal while I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm more listening to podcasts and stuff. I might see what Nick's up to when I go to bed right now. It knows it has the idea, but maybe I switch it up sometimes, so it's 90% of the time I want not metal in the morning. So it'll give me metal in the morning 90% of the time. Remember, we saw that Meta was able to, when it was called Facebook or when it was just Facebook, find out when people were using the bathroom. That's the same type of stuff we're seeing here with it. The other part of it is the IP, the intellectual property part of it. They put a proposal in the EO, and I'll look for it, where they said that they wanted to put a watermark on any AIU stuff. Again, this is just for in the executive branch in DC, but he would want every company to do this, is what that means. Watermark. So I actually didn't clip that in ChatGPT, so let me go directly to the document. This is interesting. I thought the watermark part was interesting here. Let's look at that. Watermark, they want to do watermarking. The term watermarking means the act of embedding information which is typically difficult to remove into outputs created by AI. And this could be even stuff, a lot of times you think of watermarking as something you can see, but this is stuff that you, even with the naked eye, you wouldn't be able to see. And they're saying that they want to potentially force AI to use this watermarking. So here it is. It says, take reasonable steps to watermark or otherwise label output from generative AI. So when we make these AI pictures from Midjourney, or is it DALL-E? I just started using that because it's built into ChatGPT, but DALL-E. These sites that do the fake pictures like the AI hug from Trump and Fauci that made a big noise, they're saying that there would be a watermark on it or something like that. That's what they want. And to me, that's a problem. That's a problem. Because you can't have the government, that's a free speech. Now, he can do it in the executive branch, just like with Huckabee Sanders. When Sarah Sanders did we're going to ban the pregnant people words and stuff like that, I never said it was a First Amendment violation. I thought it was silly and stupid. No, I'm not for it. Banning words. I know it's just in the state offices, but that's still I don't need to ban words. That's a losing proposition. And it's anti-free speech even if it doesn't apply to your branch. Like if I run a situation company or something like that, I'm a free speech person. I'm not banning words. Now, you can fire people. That's a thing. But when you look at it, that's a free speech problem if if the legislative body in Congress says, if you use AI to make any type of AI picture, it needs to have a watermark. That's a First Amendment violation, clearly. If the company wants to put a watermark on it, they can. The government cannot make the company say, when you do this piece of art, because that's all artificial, even if it looks exactly real, it is a piece of art. It's a piece of art that looks like a real photo to you. And you cannot force anybody to put anything on a piece of art. That is really basic First Amendment stuff. So you see where we're getting into thought crimes and putting AIs on there. TNT Psycho says, I wouldn't want AI if it didn't profile. Yeah. 1000 says, Joe hasn't even read 2 pages of this bill. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about this bill. Guarantee you that. Companies have zero expectations to First Amendment. So, but the problem is that's what Citizens, to my knowledge, Citizens United That's what it kind of did. I have to go back and look, and it was First Amendment. The reason why they said that these companies can contribute as much as they want is because they should be protected under the First Amendment. Companies and unions, basically. So I have to double check like what's the scope of that, but I know it sounds weird. The Bill of Rights is not for companies, I don't believe. I have to look into that to get a stronger argument, but that's really ties into the Citizens United. When you look at it here, reasonable steps to watermark. Let me go back to the Chat GPT. So here's the IP issues. The intellectual property aspect of the executive order on AI is a topic ripe for exploration. The order calls for tackling novel intellectual property questions to protect inventors and creators. AI's ability to generate content, be it text, images, or even more complex creations like music or art, poses a challenge. What does that mean? I played a real clip from Joe Rogan. Pretty soon you won't know if that's real or not. With Elon, I don't know if it's real. With Elon Musk and Joe Rogan. I've played fake clips from a Joe Rogan podcast that sounded amazing. And there are some out of this world videos. Let me show you Loza. I think I've played a couple of his videos that he's been doing. Loza has been doing amazing work with AI. Loza, if you don't know, is the hip hop artist. I wonder if hopefully he and Bryson Gray got it together. I think they had a little bit of beef, but that happens. Here's a song. I like this song a lot. Strong Delusion. And it's got the first verse is Drake. Drake's on the first verse. Let's listen to this.
What is a woman? It's your mama. You that confused? Let me come and watch it. I tell you, it's your mama. It sure ain't your daddy. That's right. Go ahead. President Biden joining in.
21 Savage too, with a catch. I think you know where I'm going with this.
The woman is your mama. That's right. Tell him about Pastor. That man is past 80, isn't he? He's past 80, right? I believe so. You mean to tell me you past 80 and you don't know your mama and your wife? That's right. Is a woman.
Strong delusion. Body got these people looking stupid. Strong delusion. People think they cats and dogs clueless. Strong delusion. Grandpa Joe sleeping, popping rubies. Strong delusion. They can't see that Trump is winning, still be winning.
Yeah, Loza got me seeing red, about to put these Tommies to bed. Yeah, tea time for the team slime, got Trump on their head. Yeah, players, they don't want smoke with me. I'm too lit like the old Kobe. I'm too sick like the new Kobe. Not boosted, I'm on a new level. Call me Ruth Chris, cause I want beef, but a move, bitch. I'ma sue the schools cause they ruthless. Trying to teach the kids to be stupid. Like, what is a woman? What do you think? Y'all need to put down the drink. Liberal soft, they look like a mink. Y'all need to word out the kinks. Biden don't even know what a woman is. Even though he got a mama and some kids. I'm confused, I don't understand this. Deep state really trying to plan this. Popping in and out like an ad-lib. They be cloning people, ain't no capping. Plan Bs, they gon' make it happen. Killing off black babies, goddamn. Yeah, life is crazy. MAGA way getting icy, baby. Yeah, rice are taken, that's why I'm going twice as crazy. Yeah, white Mercedes, Trump flag on the license, baby. Yeah, lights sedated, body sleeping up in Maui, maybe. Yeah, everybody so confused in it, watching CNN and they cool with it. Like BLM, they finna move with it. They don't even know they gon' lose in it. I identify as a patriot and I don't care about you little coon niggas. Y'all really believe y'all cats and dogs should identify as a strong delusion. Biden got these people looking.
So the thing with that was Drake AI. How dope is that? Loza, I've been telling people, man, that when AI is just a tool. So some people will be like, nah, I don't like to use AI, and Eric July does it. I mean, maybe he changed his mind on it. I don't know. I think that's one of the few things that Eric July and I disagree on strongly. Might be the only thing that I say I strongly disagree with Eric July on. But he's an artist, though, so I understand where he's coming from, that he wants authentic, he wants real hand-drawn, all that. But you can't tell me that if you could do the drawings for ISOM through AI, that you wouldn't do the drawings with ISOM through AI. You could do the comics books that much faster. You could tailor them exactly how you wanted to do it. You wouldn't have any overhead for paying some artist to do it. And I know you want to do it that way, and AI is not good enough to do it yet. But let's say it did, then you could do it. And Lowe's is doing it there. Lowe's has a track featuring Drake talking about MAGA, I'm a patriot. That's what they're really worried about with AI. You're seeing the revolution right before your very eyes. Loza doesn't need to pay Drake for a feature. I wrote I don't know who did, but Loza could write Drake's lyrics. I don't know if he did it there or not. I got Drake's voice. I got Drake's fake AI looks. And that's the problem that you're seeing with the intellectual property. Who owns that Drake? That's not Drake. It is Drake, but it's not Drake. Who owns that Drake? The voice of Drake. So they made a deal, I believe, with YouTube because everybody was doing these fake Biggie, Trump, Biden, Drake, Future. Then the Future ones are crazy. I wouldn't even have known that they were AI. Even Travis Scott, Ye, Eminem, all the big names, Tupac. They're doing their voices. Who owns that now? That's part of the debate on it. And that's a serious debate. Who owns that? I don't know what the right answer is. I would have to look that up. But right now, I believe whatever labels Drake's on, I forgot what label he's on, they are paying, Google's paying them, I think, or whatever. They have a deal where I believe they're not striking these at all. I don't know if you can monetize them or not, but you can have these voices on YouTube. It was a big to do. It was a big back and forth. I think there was legal battles because the Drake AI songs were better than the regular Drake songs. It was getting crazy. And that was a dope verse. Loza's verse coming up next is really good. It's one of his better verses in a minute. You see how it's working. It's power to the people, man. It's distributing power to the people. And let's say they say you can't use Drake. It's illegal. How off can you make Drake to make it legal? You see where we're getting to? It's very hard to do this. So can I make it, because you can tweak AI. I've been working on trying to do, it just sounds so robotic. I've been trying to look to see how I can use AI avatars to do maybe just like a quick news update or something like that. Basically like I hired people, but it's just AI, but I need to get the process takes so long right now. But I need to be able to get my script, give it to the AI, pop it in, and then upload. It needs to be quick. 2-minute upload on a lot of these stories I'm never going to touch on because I don't have time. Just I have thoughts. I've done it on X, copy them, have ChatGPT clean them up, put them with the avatar AI, put them on a news desk, and do a 2-minute segment. And so I'm trying to do that stuff myself. And you've seen me play around with the word like the Kanye West. I did the Kanye West one. I did that live on air. I did this one live on air. Ray was there.
Yo, this is Ye AI. I love the guy with the funny mustache. I meant this dude Osiris. Middle mega.
So yay, appreciate you, yay AI with the drop. But you can do little stuff like that and play with it. So I'm playing with it as well. And a lot of people are. You see the memesters are going crazy with it. They're doing the voices. I played Greta Thunberg. There's a Joe Biden one I just saw today. It's hard, the lips are off a little bit, but it's hard to tell that it's AI. So those are the intellectual property. That's the best way to describe it. There's more intricacies, but like I said, like if you have Drake, because I've been doing this with the anchor that I want to do like at an anchor desk, you can change their anger. You can choose happy, sad, conversational type of tones. And then there's a slider where you can change it. So what I'm saying is if you do Drake, maybe you take his voice and you slide it a little bit. And then you take his face and you make it look a little bit fatter than Drake or something like that. How do you know this? Is it Drake? When does it not become Drake anymore? Like if you take Drake and you just, because you can tweak the way it looks and you make Drake gain 60 pounds and then maybe change his cheekbone a little bit. And you're like, is that Drake or not Drake? how are you suing? What's the line between whether it's Drake or not? Same with the voice. How do you do the voice? Now, I tried to do my voice in AI and it sounds terrible. But I recorded my voice and I was like, okay, I want to see if you can use my voice to, not that I want something with more inflection, but just to play around with it. Use my voice to narrate something, to narrate an audio version of an article. Like I've already been using AI to do audio versions of articles. All written. The article's written by AI. Now, I tell it what to do. There's the other thing. Who owns the article? I think I own the article. And nobody can, I can guarantee you, I'll give you ChatGPT right now, you can't replicate the articles that I make. I'm not taking credit for like intricate writing or anything. I'm just saying from the standpoint of who owns them, there's a lot of inputs that go into that. ChatGPT is not on its own coming up with the MAGA movement is this or the first American. I'm giving them that stuff. And not only that, there's a lot of tweaking in there where I have a lot of different, I don't know if I can show it. I might see if I can show it. There's a lot of different, what do you call them? Little things you can tweak. So templates, custom instructions. So look at this. I have custom instructions here, and I got a lot. I fill it up to 1,500 words, characters, or whatever it is. I use ChatGPT to write opinion editorials. I hate cliche terms. I want unique pieces of work. Any quotes have to be explained. This is just all my thing. And then on top of that, I have others. That's what I have as a default. These are prompts, and I have a prompt for I want to do a Twitter thread. I have a prompt for I want to do an assertive Tucker Carlson style. I got a prompt for Tim Pool headline styles. I got a prompt for a lot of different things, and I tell it this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And my point with that is it's unique. I think if you could replicate it, if somebody could go in and you can't replicate it unless you know the prompts I'm using. It's not possible to, not exactly, you could maybe come close, but not exactly replicate it. Can't, I think I own it. I guess the debate would be, would OpenAI own it? And that might be in the terms, I don't know, but I think I should own it. But that's the debate you were having in this, where's the AI going? They're not passing legislation yet, but you see, and Joe Biden, I think it wasn't clear to me where he was, they weren't clear on where they were lining up on a lot of this stuff. But that's the debate that's being had. So that's what I had for the live. There's plenty of other topics, but like I said, I'm working on what I'll do is kind of do a little outline and say, okay, do I have time? Can I just do this live real quick or not? In the car even or wherever, and then it's done, or can I do an AI? Because the thing I want to do with the AI is I might be at work. I can't record something, but maybe I have my thoughts organized in a 2-minute script or something. If I have a quick process, then I can just have a AI do it. But the AI is, I'll show you a little bit about that actually. The AI is, and this is through Speechify. Speechify, everybody's expanding their AI. I use Descript, I use Speechify, I use ChatGPT. I'm all in these AI stuff. It's just fun. Be honest with you. It's just fun. The channel is really an excuse for me to be able to dabble in this stuff, which I think is fun. My wife said, did you see that there was some scandal with the Michigan football team? And normally I would know everything about Michigan, Ohio State. And I guess there's a scandal about them spying or something like that. I don't know. And I really honestly didn't know. And she was like, are you serious? This has been going on for a couple of weeks or something. I haven't even seen a headline on it because I'm looking at this stuff. I'm way off from that. But let me I still didn't get it here. What's the website? Speechify Studio. So the problem I'm having with it is the voiceover studio for Speechify. As you can see, they're very stiff. And it's like, I don't know if I want them. I mean, my voice is stiff, so I'm like, is it really that much different than me? And then, yeah, it is different. It is different. The pauses aren't natural. I wish you could do like, you'll get there where you can do randomized pauses and stuff. But I did an AI video on the channel a while back. That was my first one I ever did, experimental AI video on the channel. Before I do the Speechify one, let me go back to that one and show you what I mean by it. And definitely can't be long. I don't think they can be long. You got to break them up. This was a while back. Let's see. Oh, wow. It wasn't that long ago. Because I'm doing mostly live. So here's the AI one I did from a while back.
MAGA. I'm Jenny, part of the Middle MAGA Artificial Intelligence Network.
What did you say?
I'm Jenny, part of the Middle MAGA Artificial Intelligence Network.
Would.
Today, we're diving into a topic that's as controversial as it is misunderstood: shame.
Shame, it can be a very good thing. It's a good feeling because it tells us.
I don't know. That's not bad. The voice I'm getting now is not as good. So that was from a different, that was actually from Canva. I don't know if you've seen that in Canva. A lot of people use Canva for thumbnails. A lot of these thumbnails you'll see them in Canva. Canva has some AI, so I was dabbling in it. That one actually came out, I mean, the voice actually came out decent. I'm struggling now because they all have their different voiceovers and some are better than others. I'm going to be out after I show this, maybe read some comments and I'll be out. So here's a workshop of me doing, so now I'm putting it, that one was not on the green screen, the Asian woman, so you saw the clipping and it looked real sloppy. This one's on the green screen, so I'll be able to take this dude and put him on whatever set I want to very easily with that solid green black background. And I have a piece here I want him to read, but I'm just really kind of experimenting with it. And you'll see what I mean here.
In the wake of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a group of 16 individuals, known as the Michigan 16, took a daring step that sent shockwaves through the political arena. Forget the sanitized narrative of a smooth electoral process. These individuals, all Republicans, cast alternate electoral votes for Donald Trump.
Sound a little bit like ABL if you watch Anthony Brian Logan. He has a great channel, of course. But that's the voice, but then you can do other tweaks with the voice, like that's the chat one that I like the best. So I can take the voice and I can do angry. The angry one sounds whack, but I'm just going to play it just so you can hear it. I don't like it, but maybe you could tweak these and kind of, can you do it per word? No, I don't think you can do it per word. And that would give you a little bit of inflection maybe, but let's try this.
In the wake of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a group of 16 individuals known
as you can see, it sounds angry, but it sounds whack though. Cheerful sounds whack. Sad. Let's hear sad.
In the wake of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a group of 16 individuals, known as the Michigan 16, took a daring step that sent shockwaves through the political.
I'm trying to speed it up. The sad is slow.
Narrative of a smooth electoral process. These individuals,
so it sounds terrible. I mean, you can speed it up though. You can tweak up the intensity, like I said. You can have them whisper. I mean, this is crazy stuff.
In the wake of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a group of 16 individuals, known as the Michigan.
That sounded really spooky. That sounded really creepy. I don't want the whisper in there, but maybe I'll find us. Maybe I'll play around and do one that is a whisper, and make it like 30. Make it a 30-second reel or whatever they call them, short. But yeah, so I kind of settled in. I played with all of them. I settled in with this chat one as the best one. So now I have him, and I think I'm going to have him do this, and then. But this isn't quick though. So now I have to dump this out to video, edit it, put him in on background. And what's the point? Like, it's just audio. Do you even need his face in it? Just playing.
In the wake of the 2020 U.S. presidential election, a group of 16 individuals.
So I'm just playing around with it. It's time consuming, so you don't really need the face. I mean, most of this is like, even when I listen to Tim Pool on YouTube, I'm not. Well, today I was actually watching him on TV, which is cool, but I rarely do that. I don't know why. I just decided to put the YouTube on TV, watched him and Michael Rechtenwald and Phil and who else? Brett was there and watched them. Ian's been gone for a minute. Is Ian coming back? Ian went to Florida. He was like, I'm good. He was like, I'm out here with Luke, man. I'm good. Me and Luke could do a podcast. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen Ian in a minute. But you could, yeah, I'm listening to Tim Pool. I don't even almost need to see him. It's a podcast. So if it's going to take long to do the avatar, then why do the avatar? I'm, on X, I do the voiceover articles, and these work really well. And it's like, maybe what's the reason why would I need to change this? But I just like experimenting. But if I go into on X, I think I should have something highlighted that's an article. Let's see if I have one. Do I not have? I have no articles highlighted. Oh my gosh. But I was doing them before the highlight. The highlight thing wasn't working for a long time. So let me see if I can find. I think I'll just search on Anna. Anna's the one that I got the most listens on, so it probably will pop up. Yep. So here it is. So this is AI. It's written with AI. Obviously, you can't recreate this because AI doesn't naturally talk about Anna Kasparian. You got to give it information. I did a lot. I dumped. She was on with, I forget the name of the podcast. I dumped the whole podcast to text. Put the text into ChatGPT and said, hey, quote these parts. I like these parts. Are there any other parts that have this? It's so much quicker than me kind of going around. Sometimes it's quicker. And then I said, hey, you'll write this in here. Here's my opinion on this. I want you to write it like this. Nope. Quote me like this. Write it like that. And then it comes out. And this one's just voice. It's Anna Kasparian.
Middle MAGA.
Shocking political shift. Anna Kasparian's unbelievable turn. Spread the word about Anna Kasparian's astonishing political shift and reach out to offer her the recognition and respect she deserves. Change is a constant in the realm of political discourse. Ideas evolve, beliefs shift, and labels that once seemed fitting can suddenly feel restrictive. This is the account of Anna Kasparian, the executive producer and co-host of The Young Turks, who recently embarked on a profound odyssey of political introspection that has been as public as it has been profound. Kasparian's metamorphosis was not an abrupt shift but a gradual progression, spurred by deep reflection and an unwavering commitment to intellectual honesty. I'm going through something very real and sincere, she confessed during an interview on the Sitch and Adams show. It's uncomfortable, and it has not been an enjoyable process. Nevertheless, it is this discomfort that has fueled her expedition, propelling her to become what she describes as the most malleable and open to new information she has ever been in her adult life. Kasparian's conversion was ignited by several pivotal events and stories that instigated a reevaluation of her previous political alignment. One such tale was the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which she openly admitted misjudging. I made a mistake about that, she stated. Misinforming the audience is not something I have any interest in, and I might give them the facts and they might not like it, but I can't withhold information from them because I'm afraid that they might not like it. So I'm gonna give them the facts. Another incident that significantly contributed to her political questioning was when Anna expressed her reluctance to be labeled a birthing person instead of a woman. This stance ignited a contentious response from Aliyemi Aliyaran, a public defender at the Legal Aid Society and a lawyer in New York City, who has faced criticism for inciting racial tensions. Aliyaran went so far as to accuse Anna of racism due to her refusal to adopt the birthing person label. This occurrence, combined with Aliyaran's misguided allegations, became a pivotal moment that exposed Anna to the realities of adhering to toxic ideological positions and further reinforced her decision to reconsider her political alignment. Anna is undoubtedly forging her own political path, that much is evident. While her opinions may still lean towards the left, she appears to be embarking on a journey towards seeking truth, much like Russell Brand, Jimmy Dore, Tim Pool, Kim Iverson, and Streamer Destiny. Her transformation has encountered criticism, particularly from her audience, some of whom have struggled with her newfound conclusions. Yet, she remains undeterred. Nothing has changed about my work life. I'm in the same place. I have the same audience, she acknowledged. Instead of retracting, she feels a sense of responsibility to correct her past mistakes to the best of her ability and strive for improvement moving forward. Kasparian's evolution extends beyond her personal expedition. It serves as a testament to the power of independent thought and the significance of questioning one's beliefs. It serves as a reminder that political labels are not rigid boxes in which we confine ourselves, but rather tools to comprehend our values and principles. As Kasparian herself expressed, at this point, I do not know what political labels apply to me. I feel like I do not truly belong anywhere. This transformation could herald the start of a broader exodus from the left. It issues a call to action for free thinkers everywhere to provide an off-ramp for individuals like Kasparian who are questioning their political alignment.
Middle MAGA.
So that was a piece on Anna. That's one of my favorite ones I did. So I'm big in the AI, but there's always going to be a way. I'm not even worried about the executive orders. There's always going to be a black market. Now, what they'll do is make it illegal. They'll threaten to hem you up. But people are already getting ready. They're already downloading what they need to do to run it on their own computers, so it's separate from the internet and all that. And maybe it will connect to the internet when they ask it to, but it won't be. You won't have to depend on OpenAI for it. You've got the underground AI, because OpenAI is going to be OpenAI is making me do, not making, but it's helping me do all of these. You could say anti-woke pieces. That's not good. It's not going to stay like that. That's what that executive order is about. I want to get this off my chest. This is a random one. Probably because I had that coffee again. I might have to do shows every other night, because what happens is I drink like 2 coffees and then I do lives too long. Cyan's like, just do one topic so you can go every night. I'm like, I can't. Well, I can, but I'm just not disciplined enough. And so I go too late. So then I go to bed late. And then that next night I'm still tired even after 2 more coffees. So I might have to go every other night. I'm just figuring this thing out, and if I go every night, it might be a bonus, but I'm not even editing. So I really should go every other night and edit and splice these up. YouTube is not very friendly to long form content though. It's very, very anti-long form, at least for me. I can't speak on anybody else's experience. I get way more views on Twitter already now and Rumble than YouTube. But I was going to bring up this tweet, just getting on my nerves. Absolutely getting on my nerves what these people are doing out here. We've got an organized push for people to get fired. They're trying to get people fired from their job for an opinion. Why is this happening? This is disturbing. So there's this Twitter account. Quite frankly, this Twitter account can eat a dick. Very upset. Nothing illegal here. I can criticize. Stop anti-Semitism. It sounds wonderful, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, they provided an update. Elite Models NYC is no longer representing anti-Semite Camelia DeTerry. I'm like, what? What is going on? Then I look at their quote, the tweet that they quoted. Model Camelia DeTerry, repped by Elite, compares the Jewish nation to Nazi Germany. So what? You can't do that? So this account posts, if you say something that this account doesn't like, then they crowdsource who you are to get to I don't even know if I want to say dox you, because you're kind of already public, but to get your information, to go to your employer and to put pressure on the employer to get you fired. Just random niggas. Just random people. Talk about punching down. She's a damn model. Since when do you go to models for geopolitics? Who cares what she thinks? Ye said all this stuff about how he loves the guy with the funny mustache and all that. And notice he was very careful with what he said he didn't say. He never said anything that was really, when you go back and look at it, it wasn't as wild as I thought it was. He didn't say anything really that crazy. And he didn't condone any violence or any bad things that the guy did. He just was playing around with what does it mean to love someone. I love everyone. I love Hillary Clinton. I love everyone. Who cares what Ye thinks? He's a rapper. Who cares? He was running for president. I don't know what. So what? You care what this random model thinks so much that you want to get her fired? We are horrified for any photographers, staff, models, etc. that are forced to work with such heinous individual. You do realize that this is just the beginning. What's next? What's next? Anti-Semitism. I'm showing it on the screen now. I was not showing it on the screen. Model Camelia Detier or whatever, repped by elite, compares the Jewish nation to Nazi Germany. So what? If you disagree, you can disagree. No, it's not enough. That's not enough for these people. Whoever is behind this, look at this. It's a NGO. Wow. I wonder what's that? What does that mean? Oh yeah, right here. Non-governmental, non-profit organization, NYC. So what's their mission? What's their mission statement? Get niggas fired for free speech since 2018. This is what you're supporting? All media inquiries. What am I going to contact you for? For you to get me fired? Am I going to get fired because I think you should stop trying to get other people fired? Probably. I don't have enough middle fingers for you. I really don't. And what energizes me is I know these type of people, they'll come around to you and me. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You say one thing that they disagree with. Go find out. Who is this dude? Oh, go find out. Go find out. Make sure that nobody works with him. Not only do you get fired, that means you shouldn't be working anywhere, right? So you should be following up with this model to make sure she never gets another job in her life. Is that what your goal is for this organization? This nonpartisan organization? Yeah, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's real nonpartisan. It's based on fighting anti-Semitism. What the hell does that mean? I was accused of anti-Semitism on this live by friend of show. What does this term even mean? We have to be able to say, now you have to ostracize those who are trying to ostracize other people. I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but I'm saying they should be ridiculed, mocked, criticized. Embarrassing. For somebody for their opinion. I don't care how crazy their opinion is. If their employer wants to fire them, that's fine. If you want to make it your goal to kind of dox people to make sure that they get fired, you are on a level of hate that, and I don't use that term, but let's say you want to use hate speech, because that's basically all they're trying to do with this anti-Semitism. There's no bigger hate speech than saying, hey, find out the identity of this person so I can put pressure on this other company to get them fired. It's cancel culture to the nth degree. You don't have any higher to aim at. You can't aim at a politician. I don't know, a mayor, a city council member or something. You're aiming at models. Random models. There are people that are despicable pulling these signs down that are pictures of the people who are hostages and got abducted. I do not condone, that's not even strong enough to say. I think that's very evil. It's a very evil act. So I agree that it's bad. But for you to say, well, find out who this person is tearing down the sign, I need to go rat on them. I don't know which evil's worse. Because I know the second I disagree with you, you coming for me. Them, I don't know. I don't know if they're coming for me. They probably are too, but you are the one with the non-governmental organization. Stop anti-Semitism. I mean, there's a lot of things we need to stop that's going on in this country right now. I appreciate y'all for joining. TNT Cycles, PDX, and everybody. I'm out. Take care.